Welcome to a special bonus episode of Fucked Up Fables. I'm Enkidu, and I'll be flying solo today. I've been in a very Arthurian mood and decided to share with you all a poem. Now, if you listened to the Watery Tarts episode, you heard me mention a poem called The Lady of Shalott by Alfred Tennyson. Now, it was the story that sort of got me into all things Arthurian, and with that in mind, I decided I would just go ahead and share the poem with you all on here. Before I begin, I just wanted to mention that the next episode will be out on Monday, and it will have the very lovely Titania hosting it, so be on the lookout for it. And if you haven't followed us on socials, I will leave the info in the show notes. So without further ado, here is the Lady of Shalott. On either side the river lie long fields of barley and of rye, that cloth the world and meet the sky, and through the field the Rhone runs by, to many-towered Camelot. The yellow-leaved water-lily, the green-sheathed dandelily, tremble in the water chilly round about Shalott. Willows whiten, aspens shiver, the sunbeam showers break and quiver, in the stream that runneth ever, by the island in the river, flowing down to Camelot. 4 grey walls and 4 grey towers overlook a space of flowers, and in the silent aisle embowers the Lady of Shalott. Underneath the bearded barley, the reaper reaping late and early, hears her ever chanting cheerily, like an angel singing clearly, o'er the stream of Camelot. Piling the sheaves in furrows airy, beneath the moon the reaper wary, listening whispers, 'tis the fairy, the Lady of Shalott. The little isle is all unrailed, with the rose fence and overtrailed, with roses by the marge inhaled, the shallop, filthen, silken sailed, skimming down to Camelot. A pearl garland winds her hair, she leaneth on a velvet bed, all royally apparelled, the Lady of Shalott. No time hath she to sport and play, a charmed web she weaves away. A curse is on her if she stay, her weaving either night or day, to look down to Camelot. She knows not what the curse may be, therefore she weaveth steadily, therefore no other care hath she, the Lady of Shalott. She lives with little joy or fear, over the water, running near, the sheep bell tinkles in her ear, before her hangs a mirror clear, reflecting towered Camelot. And as the mazy web she whirls, she sees the surly village churls, and the red cloaks of market girls, pass onward from Shalott. Sometimes a troop of damsels glad, an abbot on an ambling pad, sometimes a curly shepherd's lad, or long-haired page in crimson clad, goes by to towered Camelot. And sometimes through the mirror blue, the knights come riding 2 and 2, she hath no loyal knight and true, the Lady of Shalott. But in her web she still delights, to weave the mirror's magic sights, for often through the silent nights, a funeral with plumes and lights, and music came from Camelot. Or when the moon was overhead, came 2 young lovers lately wed, I'm half sick of shadows, said the Lady of Shalott. A bough shot from her bower eaves, he rode between the barley sheaves, the sun came dazzling through the leaves, and flamed upon the brazen greaves of bold Sir Lancelot. A red-crossed knight for ever kneeled to a lady in his shield, that sparkled on the yellow field, beside remote Shalott. The gimmy bridle glittered free, like some branch of stars we see, hung in the golden galaxy. The bride bells rang merrily, he rode down from Camelot, and from his blazoned baldric slung a mighty silver bugle hung, and as he rode his armor rung beside remote Shalott. All in the blue unclouded weather, thick jeweled shone the saddle leather, the helmet and the helmet feather burned like one burning flame together as he rode down from Camelot. As often through the purple night, below the starry clusters bright, some bearded meteor trailing light moves over green Shalott. His broad clear brow in sunlight glowed, on burnished hooves his war horse trode, from underneath his helmet flowed his coal-black curls as on he rode down from Camelot. From the bank and from the river he flashed into the crystal mirror, Tiralira, Tiralira, sang Sir Lancelot. She left the web, she left the loom, she made 3 paces through the room, she saw the water flower bloom, she saw the helmet and the plume, she looked down to Camelot. Out flew the web and floated wide, the mirror cracked from side to side. The curse has come upon me, cried the Lady of Shalott. In the stormy east wind straining, the pale yellow woods were waning, the broad stream in his banks complaining, heavily the low sky raining over towered Camelot. Outside the isle a shallow boat beneath a willow lay afloat. Below the carven stern she wrote, the Lady of Shalott. A cloud-white crown of pearls she dight, all ornamented in snowy white, that loosely flew her zone in sight, clasped with one blinding diamond bright, her wide eyes fixed on Camelot. Though the squally east wind keenly blew with folded arms serenely, by the water stood the queenly Lady of Shalott. With a steady, stony glance, like some bold seer in a trance, beholding all his own mischance, mute with a glassy counterstance, she looked down to Camelot. It was the closing of the day, she loosed the chain and down she lay, the broad stream bore her far away, the Lady of Shalott. And when 2 sailors while they roam, by creeks and outfalls far from home, rising and dropping with the foam, from dying swans wild warblings come, blown shoreward, so to Camelot. Still as the boat had wound along, the willowy hills and fields among, they heard her chanting her death song, the Lady of Shalott. A long-drawn carol, mournful, holy, she chanted loudly, chanted lowly, till her eyes were darkened wholly, and her smooth face sharpened slowly, turned to towered Camelot. For ere she reached upon the tide, the first house by the water's side, singing in her song she died, the Lady of Shalott. Under tower and balcony, by garden wall and gallery, a pale, pale corpse she floated by, dead cold between the houses high, dead into towered Camelot. Knight and burgher, lord and dame, to the planked wharfarge came, below the stern they read her name, the Lady of Shalott. They crossed themselves, their stars they blessed, knight, minstrel, abbot, squire, and guest. They lay a parchment on her breast, that puzzled more than all the rest, the well-fell writs at Camelot. The web was woven curiously, the charm is broken utterly. Draw not and fear not, this is I, the Lady of Shalott. And that is the end of Alfred Tennyson's beautiful poem. If you have the opportunity to listen to the Rena McKennett's version of this, she does change a couple of the verses. The ending ends a little bit differently, and I think that I much prefer her version of it. I don't know if she maybe has a different version that she found or took parts of it and changed it for time's sake. It is a very long poem, but it is definitely worth listening to. So that is all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoy this little bonus episode, and we will see you on Monday.